Welcome to A Life Without Parole. Today I want to talk about Sarah Boone. She's on trial for the murder of her boyfriend who was locked in a suitcase. If you remember the story, they were allegedly playing hide and seek. She locked him in and then went to sleep. And when she woke up in the morning, he was dead from suffocation. Although there's wounds and her story doesn't really add up. So we've had a lot of questions. Today, she took the stand, which is very unusual. It seems like we don't see a lot of suspects who testify in their own defense. Why, you might ask? Well, because they are then subject to cross-examination, and anything that doesn't line up can be used against them. So most defendants, lately anyway, have chosen not to testify, but that is not the case for Sarah Boone. During her testimony today, there were many things that that were bringing me pause, let's just say. It just appeared that her body language was not adding up with what she was saying, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But also, it feels like her story of what happens is trying to fit with the evidence that's presented, just like Lori Vallow did when she talked to her son Colby. I have a video about that coming up soon. But she, after all the years, she has time, both of them have time because they know all the evidence the prosecuting team is going to use. And so they have time to come up with ideas with why there's certain things that tie in with the evidence presented. And they don't necessarily go in line with, now again, I'm going to be talking about Sarah Boone. It doesn't go in line with what she was saying the day the 911 call was made when he died. Doesn't add up. And there's quite a few things that don't add up. So we'll talk about that. But first, there's something that I want to bring up, and that is there was a lot of arguments about whether or not the previous allegations against her boyfriend could be used in court. And basically, in the state of Florida, which is where this case is being, where this happened, where it's being tried, you cannot use previous abuse in your trial unless there's only certain ways that you can. And today, her defense attorney figured out a way. And lo and behold, the evidence of all the abuse that Sarah Boone has been a victim of over the years was substantial. I was in shock. I had no idea. And I have to say, I watched her testify first, and then during her testimony, her defense team presented the evidence of abuse that she suffered from her boyfriend. And by the time I saw that, whoa, that changed a lot of the things that were firing off in my brain. And, oh, this is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Do I still think that she was lying? Do I think she did it on purpose? I'm going to try to stay away from what I think, but more I'm going to just talk about what I think based on what I've heard and the evidence that's been presented. My opinion. If I were a juror, the way that I would look at it. Let's just say that. So let's get started. This trial is long, and there has been a lot that happened today, but I want to give you just a little bit of a baseline when she first got on the stand so you can see what it's like when she's telling easy answers. Then we'll see what she's like when she has questions that may or may not fit with the evidence. Let's go to that point.
Get along when y'all first met?
Very well. It was strange how quickly we hit things off and had so much in common, and I never thought that he would be interested in someone like me, and I just couldn't believe that he was actually interested in me and said a lot of nice things, and 1 hour ended up being 4 hours from when we had first met, and then we would always have something to talk about.
Why couldn't you believe that he would be interested in you?
He was very handsome. He was very funny. He was smart, and I would show up in workout clothes and disheveled hair, and I guess I kind of felt broken from being in the process of the divorce that he knew about. But then one of the things that we could relate also was the fact that he was here in Florida because he had just been divorced from his second wife. So that was another topic that he and I could compare notes on.
Sarah's blink rate is through the roof. But, of course, she's on trial for her life, so anyone would be nervous in this situation. She's talking fast, in a nervous kind of way. But she's also amazingly calm. There's no lip grooming, lip piercing. None of that at this point. Okay, I'm going to speed this up, actually triple time. And we're going to watch as she talks. And these are just basic conversations, telling about her abuse, nothing about the murder, none of those things. This is just conversations about where she lives and why. And so we can just kind of watch her facials as she's talking to the juror, talking to her attorney. You'll see that there's no differentiating with the way that she talks. She blinks a lot. She swallows hard. She's nervous. And nothing seems off course here. So what I love to do is I love to watch videos without sound. And I just keep on watching until I see something change. And when something changes, then I like to. Now, just so you don't have to watch it all, I did watch every single minute of it today. But I'm just saying a lot of this we can skip over until we see some change of body language. That's when I get interested. I love to see body language changes. Oh, see, she just pierced her lips. Let's go back and see, what did she say when she pierced her lips?
Again, on again, off again.
Yes, this was actually before we had our apartment. That was, I guess, our dating phase.
Okay. So y'all were together for 3.5 years.
Tightening of the lips might be an indicator of distaste, disapproval, or distrust. Let's keep that in mind as we go on. Again, we're going to no sound. We're going on at a pretty good clip. And then there's an objection. And so the attorneys go up to talk with the judge on a sidebar. And I love watching her body language, even when there's a sidebar. Look at her, looking off. She's so happy with what she said. It looks like duper's delight to me. She cannot contain her smile. Now, she's talking about the murder or death, accidental, whatever, of her boyfriend. And yet, she can't contain the grin on her face. That's interesting. Let's listen to some more testimony.
What y'all did that morning. What you and George spent the night together at the apartment.
Yes, at that point he was living there.
Yes. So y'all slept in the bed together, upstairs, February. So y'all would have gotten up that morning, February 23rd of 2020.
Yes.
All right. Tell the jury what happened when y'all got up.
He was already downstairs, and I went downstairs, and he wanted to start the day off by drinking because it was a day off from his job. And I talked him into cleaning and tidying up the house for a sense of accomplishment. So that is what we did for however long that it took. So we did tidy up the house and got everything in order, and it was kind of a reward, I guess, to be able to sit and enjoy ourselves and sit on the back porch.
All right. What do you mean by cleaning up the house? What did y'all do?
We swept and mopped. We folded some of the laundry. I know that we did the dishes, emptied the dishwasher, just general run-of-the-mill tidying up.
And did you have your son coming the next day?
Yes, that was one of the reasons why we were able to do that.
What was the arrangement you had in terms of the next day would have been your day to pick up your son from school?
Yes.
What time would you pick Lucas up from school the next day?
I believe his school ended at 3 o'clock.
Okay. So you would have been responsible to pick him up and he would be spending the night with you that night?
Yes.
So you wanted to have the house nice and clean?
Yes.
How many bedrooms are in the home?
2.
And you and George had one bedroom?
Yes.
And who had the other?
Lucas.
All right. Is that exclusively his bedroom?
Yes.
All right. So how long would it have taken y'all that morning to clean?
I don't really remember what time we woke up, but maybe a good 2, maybe 3 hours.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that you and George both smoked cigarettes?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that you and George both drink alcohol?
Yes.
All right. So at some point, y'all finished your chores,
Yes.
right? And then y'all were going to enjoy the day.
Yes.
All right. What was the plan?
It was just kind of, we've got the day to ourselves. Let's just kind of relax and go with the flow.
All right. Did y'all make a decision that y'all were going to start drinking?
Yes, we had a half of a bottle that was already in the refrigerator, and I did not want to go out afterwards. I, again, had Lucas coming the next day, so we went over to Publix to purchase another bottle of wine so we could not have to go out later on that evening.
Now, you were here in court when the state played the video of you two and the Publix purchasing the bottle of wine?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to here with the jury right now?
Yes.
Okay. And that was around noonish?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Had y'all started drinking the leftover bottle before going to the Publix?
No.
Okay. So, y'all bought a bottle of wine?
Yes.
All right. And how did y'all get to Publix?
My car.
How far is Publix from your apartment?
5 minutes.
How would you get there from your apartment?
What do you mean?
Did you have to go across any major highways, or is it right there?
You just come out of our apartment complex and you do a little U-turn and then you come up and it's right in that complex.
Okay. But it's easier to drive than to walk?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know at sometimes y'all would simply need cigarettes and it was in walking distance. Can you tell the jury about that?
Yes, there was a AutoZone convenience store with, in the same, I guess, parking lot of our townhome, our complex, and it was just a straight shot from our apartment to a back gate, and you could get right into the convenience store from right there.
Okay. But y'all went over to get that bottle of wine around noonish, and how did you took your car?
Yes.
Did George have a vehicle?
We did not.
Okay. And how did you pay for the wine?
With my debit card?
And then y'all came back and started drinking?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us what you did when you got back from the Publix.
Just went on the back porch where we usually spend our time because we're able to smoke cigarettes outside as opposed to inside. And
Is cigarette smoking not allowed indoors?
it is not.
Here we go again. Distaste. I slowed it down. She pierces her lips. What is it about them going out on the back porch smoking that she has such a distaste in her mouth? Well, later on, we find out that a lot of the abuse happened out there on the porch. Multiple times. So obviously that's a trigger for her, talking about that particular time and place, understandably so. But not to mention one of the big times that she got beat up was because she had asked for a cigarette from somebody at a bar, and that made him mad. What is crazy to me is she testifies of all these different things, and even when she first talks with the police after the 911 call, she is just like agitated because she needs a cigarette. This lady smoked a lot, and that is something I have a question about when it comes to her testimony, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's continue on.
Okay. Do you have pets?
Yes, I do.
Well, did you have pets?
I did, yes.
Okay. Were they with y'all there that day?
Yes, my dogs were with me all the time when I was there.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 2,
And just what are their names?
Penny and Tess.
And what is the breed?
They are red Boston Terriers.
And are they both disabled?
Yes, Penny is blind and Tess is deaf.
So when y'all went out to smoke on the back porch and drink, I assume, as well, correct?
Yes.
Did y'all take the dogs out?
Oh, yes.
All right. Is there a place for them to do their business out there?
Yes, I extended our back porch for them to have a little bit of area as opposed to going from a large backyard from my marital home to our little townhome. And they would come out there and do their business, and I could sometimes I would open the gate and then walk them in the back part of our apartment.
So you and George were just going to enjoy the day together?
Correct.
Is it fair to say y'all don't have a lot of money?
Yes.
And so y'all were going to do something there in the home? Y'all weren't going out for dinner or...
Yes, we primarily, I would consider us homebodies as opposed to going out and partying and doing this and that.
Okay. And how long do you think y'all were out that afternoon outside?
A few hours.
All right. Could you tell the jury what y'all did during that time?
We have a dartboard that's out there, and we just had drinks, and we're just really enjoying each other's company and talking about, things upcoming. We both were looking for a job and just kind of, I guess, encouraging and supporting and planning. And
Well, now you said he had a job. Was he looking for a job, a second job?
no, the job that he had was very unstable, and at that,
So he was looking for something new.
yes, at that time, yes.
Okay. And so during that 2 or 3 hours, would it be fair to say that y'all drank the bottle?
Yes.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that y'all were feeling the effects of the alcohol?
Yes,
Okay. At some point, who made the decision to come in?
I did.
Okay. Why did you want to come in?
I felt that George needed a change of scenery.
Okay. So y'all came in, and then did y'all do anything else before he left again? Were y'all doing anything? I know y'all did some arts and crafts. What did y'all do? At some point, he went to get another bottle at Publix.
Yes. I believe it was after it was right before, I believe, that we had gone inside. Because he called his daughters. I was trying to encourage him to call his family.
Okay, now where are his daughters?
The daughters seem to be a trigger here, but then also it's like she's putting him down. It's weird because she started off glorifying him, but then throughout her testimony, she's putting him down. Again, once you find out what he's done to her, you'll understand why, but still, it's an interesting thing.
Daughters.
His 2 daughters are located in Pennsylvania.
And what are their names?
Anna and Destiny.
And how old are they?
I believe that Anna is in her 30s and Destiny may be in her early 20s.
All right. Does he have any more children?
Yes, he has a son.
And where does his son?
He is in Pennsylvania also.
Okay. So part of that afternoon is y'all came in to call relatives, call family.
No, I had him call outside, just trying to, I guess, boost the mood. And the first daughter didn't answer, and I don't remember the reason I didn't speak to the second one. I believe he did. It was just for a moment.
All right. Now whose phone were y'all using?
My phone.
All right. And is that common for y'all to use that, for y'all to share that phone?
It was because George said that he didn't have a phone, so it would either be lost or given to him by his mother. So I didn't know he had a cell phone, so we would use my phone.
So it was primarily your phone?
Yes.
Okay. And you took a lot of photographs that were on that phone?
Yes.
Videotapes,
Yes.
text messages,
Yes.
phone calls.
Yes, he and I both on the phone calls.
So he would use it as well.
Yes.
And that phone, is that the one that was seized in this case?
Yes.
I'm curious why she seems to be proud of herself here when talking about the phone that was seized in this case. I don't know. There's kind of a grin there. Is she just remembering, oh, I'm on camera, I need to smile? Or is there something more nefarious going on there?
All right, so y'all called his daughters, and then during that phone call period, did you also call his brother?
Yes.
Okay, and which brother was that?
John.
Or now, how many brothers and sisters does George have?
I'm going to list them if that's okay.
Okay.
It's John, Pharrell, Isaac, Mo, and his sister.
Okay. And do they all live here in Florida?
Yes.
Are they close by?
As far as I know, yes.
What about his parents?
Yes.
They live here as well?
Yes.
Okay. But his ex-wives and his children live up in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay. So you called the girls, then you called, or George called his brother.
Yes.
Was that conversation that long?
No, it was not.
Okay. And then after that phone call, were y'all inside by this time?
Yes, at this point, I believe that it was a good time to get a change of scenery. So I thought George would be better off inside, and frankly, I didn't want to be outside any longer either.
Okay. So just to get an idea, about this time is when he went to get the second bottle, or did y'all stay inside for a while before he left?
No, from what I recall, I thought the day was over, and it was going to be get ready for the evening, for the day. What do you want for dinner? You know, do you have an extra load of laundry that you need to throw in, kind of thing. And that was my understanding. And
this was about 5-ish or something?
Once we hit 5, she doesn't like it. Is that when everything really started? That's what I'm guessing.
This was about 5-ish or something?
I don't remember the time.
Okay. At some point during that time period, did George go to Publix again?
Yes, I thought he was going to be walking to the convenience store, but apparently when he returned, he had gone across the street with my car and my debit card to buy another bottle of wine.
What was your understanding of where he was going?
To the convenience store, walking.
For what?
Cigarettes.
Okay. And you learned obviously that he came back, and you learned that he'd used your vehicle?
Yes.
And he'd used your debit card?
Yes.
And he'd brought back a bottle of wine from Publix?
Correct.
And you saw the Publix video of that?
Yes.
So he comes back with the other bottle of wine, and did he want you to drink with him?
It was expected, yes.
Yes. And you agreed to consume the second bottle with him?
Yes.
Okay. So over the course of that evening, drinking the wine, what did y'all do for time-wise? Watch a movie, music? Just kind of tell the jury what you remember. I know it's obviously been a while, but...
It was kind of a regular thing where I would always try to come up with entertaining activities for George, and I bought a puzzle. We started off at one point doing a smaller puzzle, and then we did that very quickly, so then I purchased a larger puzzle, and I believe it was 1,000 pieces. So I thought, to get his mind off of things and to focus on something, it would be smart for us to do the puzzle. So for however long that took, we finished the puzzle. So that was one.
Every piece was finished, or was it?
Every piece was finished. It was strange that we couldn't find one piece, and we thought it was funny that it was in the perfect place on there. But yes, every one but one piece.
All right. After the puzzle, what did y'all do?
I decided to continue to maintain and focus him, and I have a bunch of paints that I used of my son's that his grandmother bought him. It's a very big art wooden box, and it's got pastels, pencils, paint, any kind of whatever. And he and I were very much into art, and with this resource, it got him very interested in being more creative.
How long have you been into art?
Ever since I can remember. As a child,
You like to draw?
I like to do anything artistic.
Okay. And I know, we saw some of the pictures of your apartment, but it looks like there was pictures and artwork up. Is that all your work and George's work?
The majority of it, yes, are belongings from my home, and then also some of George's, yes, on the wall.
Was he pretty good at art as well?
Yes,
All right, so you both enjoyed doing that.
very much.
So y'all got out Lucas's art set. What did y'all do with that?
We were just, I guess, doodling, whatever. I would always tell him that everything that you make is a masterpiece. So just let loose and just let it go. And we would just paint and
drink.
Paint and drink, yes, and listen to music sometimes, and yes.
Okay. Now, with the dogs, did y'all get the dogs involved?
Oh, yes, my dogs follow me everywhere, yes.
Was there some dancing going on with the dogs?
Yes, after we had completed the puzzle and I guess we're painted out, I thought that it might be a good point for us to maybe listen to some music. And the music that George listens to is it's very fractious to me, and it was definitely not going to lighten the mood, so we ended up finding some channel on the radio, and he was feeling it, and then we ended up, my one dog gets very active and was dancing with us, and we were just having a good time listening to music.
Okay. And I guess it's getting pretty late in the evening.
Yes.
Anything else I've missed?
I don't believe so.
All right. So tell us where y'all ended up before you started the game of hide and seek.
We were there. I couldn't think of anything else possibly that I had to continue entertainment. But I remember sitting at the end of the couch and him sitting in one of my son's chairs that was in the living room, and just kind of doing this. Like, what are we going to do now? Like, I very much would like to go to sleep.
Had y'all finished off the that bottle that he had bought?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Bless you.
Would it be fair to say that as the day wore on, the more y'all consumed?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that as the day wore on, the more you consumed, the more effects you felt from the alcohol?
Of course, yes.
Oh, both of you?
Yes.
Okay. So you would agree, would you not, that at the time y'all were trying to figure out something to do and you put your head down on the couch, that would it be fair to say that y'all were intoxicated?
Yes.
Tell the jury what happened.
At one point, I guess he knew that I couldn't come up with anything else, tapped me on my knee and said, "You're it." So from there, I ran up the stairs and hid into our shower, just waiting for him to find me so we could hopefully go to sleep soon at some point. And
And your shower, is it a tub or just a walk-in?
My guess is she never went into the shower. My personal guess is he was the one hiding, not her, or playing that trick in the suitcase that she then locked him in. And this gives her great distaste because she knows her story isn't adding up.
Shower, is it a tub or just a walk-in?
it's a tub, but it's in the master bedroom, and you have to go all the way upstairs, you have to go in the bedroom, and then you have to go into the bathroom part, and then there's the shower part.
So did you lay down in the tub?
At one point, yes, I was.
Okay. So you were hiding.
I was trying.
Okay. And did you believe that he was going to come try to find you?
Yes.
Did you wait?
Yes, for quite some time.
All right. Then what did you decide to do?
that I decided that I need to go to sleep. I'm picking my son up the next day, and we need to start wrapping up the evening. And I went downstairs to find where he was.
And what, I think the jury has seen pictures of your, would you call it an apartment or
It's considered a townhome.
a townhome? So you walk down the stairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the bottom of the stairs is a bookshelf here?
Yes, at the very end of it, yes.
Okay. So you walk down the stairs and you turn and look in the living room. What did you see?
I don't even think I made it all the way down the stairwell because I was just looking for him as soon as I could to hopefully go upstairs as soon as we could. And I looked over and I saw him settling himself in the suitcase.
All right, tell us about the suitcase. How long, is it an older suitcase?
Yes,
Whose suitcase was it?
this is George's suitcase.
All right, and did he use it for traveling back and forth to Philly?
Yes, I had recently taken him on a trip to go see his children in Pennsylvania, who he hasn't seen in years, and we took that with us. And because of how dilapidated it was, how broken it was, in the end, after that trip, we decided that we would donate it.
All right, and I understand y'all kept the suitcase upstairs.
Yes,
How long did y'all keep it upstairs?
since we had moved in.
Oh. Is there a closet up there you kept it in?
Yes, it was in the master closet, the master bedroom closet, all the way in the back because of the size of it, and there was nowhere to put it, so it's all the way in the back.
So when did y'all decide to move it down from upstairs to downstairs? Was it that day or sometime earlier?
No, it was maybe a week or so prior.
Okay. And so what, y'all were going to donate that to Goodwill or?
Yes, we were going to do, I guess, a spring cleaning. Anyone who has children understands that they grow quickly, and there was a lot of clothes that I needed to go through of my sons, and then also from George and I moving in and just kind of putting everything in there, at one point where we just needed to actually go through it and organize it and get things more in order.
So is that the reason it was downstairs? You were going to donate it and a bunch of things that you were going to put inside of it?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So it'd been down there a week, so it was already down there?
Yes, George brought it down.
Okay. So you said that you got down there, you're looking for him, you see him settling into the suitcase.
Yes.
What did you do?
In my head, I said, oh man, we're obviously not going to be going to sleep anytime soon. And I walked over and he was trying to get himself flat, so I couldn't tell that he was in there. And then
Now let me stop you there. The suitcase, is it the suitcase?
My guess this part is all fabricated.
Suitcase, is it the suitcase over here in the
yes,
box? You've seen it, you saw it.
yes,
It's a pretty big suitcase.
yes.
How big is George?
George was my height.
How
And
tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Okay. And how much did George weigh?
I thought it was 100 pounds.
Okay. And how much did you weigh?
I was 98 pounds.
All right. Do you agree you put on some weight?
Since I've been incarcerated, yes.
Well, at the time, though, y'all were pretty skinny.
Yes.
So from the pictures, it looks like y'all were both pretty thin.
Yes.
All right. So because of his thinness, is that how? And he's a small man.
Yes.
Okay. So he was able to get in the suitcase on his own.
Yes.
Did he willingly get in the suitcase?
He was already in there.
Okay. When you got up to him, did he see you?
Yes.
All right. Tell us what happened.
I mean, I zipped him up. We thought it was funny, and we're joking about how he was, I guess, small enough to fit inside of the suitcase.
All right. So what happened then?
From there, it was just, we were laughing about it, and it was just strange that he was small enough to fit in there, and then I kind of moved it around a little bit with him in the suitcase still, it was still funny that he was still in the suitcase. Just, I think he and I were just kind of, couldn't believe that he could fit in the suitcase.
Did you eventually close the top?
Yes, the top was already closed. As he was settling himself in there, that's how I knew he was in there, was because the top was kind of flopping a little bit.
Okay. So he had gotten in there to hide, and he pulled the top.
Yes.
On top of it. But you could tell he was in there.
Yes.
You saw him right away.
Yes.
All right. So at some point, did you zip him up?
Yes.
Did you? And what was he saying or doing when you were zipping him up?
We just thought it was funny.
Were you both laughing?
Yes.
And so you zipped him up. Were y'all still laughing once you zipped him up?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the jury what happened then.
From there, I moved the suitcase around a couple of times, just kind of on the wheels, and moved it around. And at that point, it was funny. We were joking and laughing about it.
All right, now eventually, did you go sit down on the couch and get your phone?
Yes.
I missed something?
My guess is her distaste here is discussed with herself for recording. If there hadn't been this recording, she might not be on trial right now.
Well, the suitcase had, from me moving it around, was flopped over. So while it was like that, I thought at that point I had a moment to, I guess, take the time to talk to him while I guess he was not able to get out for a moment.
So you flipped it. You got it on the top.
Now it's really crunch time. She has to explain the bruises on his arms. She has to explain that the suitcase is flipped around. All these things are critical to her story, and they don't go along with the original testimony. So she's really got to come up with a story here.
So you flipped it. You got it on the top, right?
Yeah.
It gets in, but at some point you flip it over, so the zipper is on the bottom.
Well, it was just kind of how I was moving it around that it ended up kind of flopping, so.
But it was upside down.
Yes.
So after you did that, what did you do?
That's when I went over and decided to videotape to just see the, I guess the gist in it, for him to understand that right now I feel safe, and right now I have the ability to actually speak to you in a manner that normally I would not have the ability to do.
And you were intoxicated,
Yes.
and you would agree that you said some things you should not have.
Yes.
Right? But you realized he could not get out and get at you. Is that fair?
At that moment, yes.
So it goes on for about 10 minutes.
Hard swallow.
About 10 minutes.
Yes.
You heard it here today, did you not?
Yes.
You heard his voice as he was speaking from the suitcase.
Yes.
That was his voice on the video and audio.
Yes.
And you heard your voice on the video and audio.
Yes.
That was your voice.
Yes.
All those things said by the man were said by George in that 2-minute video.
Correct.
All the words said by the female were said by you in that 2-minute video.
Correct.
Were you intending on showing him the video the next day?
Yes.
At the time, or the next day, is it fair to say you don't even remember videotaping?
I do not.
So, from what you can tell from watching it, did that refresh your memory about that event?
It did.
Why did you say all that?
The attorneys approach the bench. Once again, I'm going to speed up her body language. I think it's very interesting. Again, Duper's delight. She starts to smile. and she just can't help herself. Then she tries to pierce her lips together. Don't smile, don't smile, don't smile. But she can't help herself. She's thinking, I'm guessing that she's thinking things like, I am doing so good. This is going just as I planned, maybe even better. As I said before, this is sped up in triple time. And so we're seeing everything faster than it normally did. But it still is a very telling thing to see how happy she is. They just went over the portion where her boyfriend died. And all she can do is show happiness on her face.
You mentioned, you talked about it before. You said he was in that confined space and it was my chance. But do you want to elaborate on that? Or?
Sure. I want you all to know that the majority of the time, am always afraid and always scared.
All right, well, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. But would it be fair to say that you had some anger at that point?
I did.
Would it be fair to say that you wanted to tell him off to some degree?
I just wanted, yes, for him to have a better understanding, which was the whole point of the videos and documentation prior.
And you could tell that he was uncomfortable.
I'm guessing.
And did you want him to feel some uncomfort?
I did.
Okay. Now, at some point, you turned off the video.
Yes.
And then we saw a second video, which is approximately 11 minutes later. And you've seen that video that was played to the jury. It was 22 seconds long.
Yes.
And I don't think you speak in that video. You hear George say Sarah one time.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So between the 2-minute video and the 22-second video is an 11-minute period. Would you tell the jury what happened?
We continued to, I guess, speak to one another, and his tone changed, and I knew the tone, and we ended up, I guess, arguing back and forth with one another, and it was the things that he was saying very much frightened me, and cursing at me and threatening me. And
did he want you to let him out of the suitcase?
I'm sure so.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
And it got very heated very quickly, and he continued to push on the suitcase, and my fear was that he was going to break out of the suitcase, knowing that it was a broken suitcase. And his hand started to come through. His hand started to come through this way. And so I shook the suitcase. Trying to get his hand to go back in, shaking it, and telling him that, please stop doing this. Please stop doing this to me. Please stop doing this to me.
So his hand actually got out of the suitcase?
Yes.
And you went to the suitcase?
Yes.
And shook it?
Yes.
Did that force his hand to go back in?
No.
So you're shaking it. Were you shaking it to try to get the suitcase, his hand back in?
Yes.
How long did you shake it?
I don't know.
But his hand was still out?
Yes.
Was he trying to get out?
Forcefully, yes.
Was he angry at you?
Yes.
Were you in fear?
Always.
If he would have gotten out of the suitcase, what would he have done to you?
Like he used to tell me, he probably would have made me unrecognizable, or I would have lost my life.
Did you lose the grip on the suitcase?
Yes.
Where was the bat in relation to the suitcase?
It was leaning up against the dining room table, right there.
How far was the bat from the suitcase?
3 feet, 2 feet.
Was his hand still out of the suitcase?
Yes.
And was he getting out of the suitcase?
He very much was trying, yes.
And so what did you do?
For the split-second reaction that I had, I happened to see that, and I grabbed the baseball bat and was trying to poke his hand to go back in to please don't break through, please. So I hit his hand.
Did you hit the outside part of his hand?
Yes.
We've seen the photographs of his left hand. Did you cause the bruising there?
I'm guessing yes.
Now, you've seen the bat. It's a youth bat.
Yes, I bought it for my son.
Is this the bat you used?
Yes.
And you said you poked him with it?
Yes, I kind of pushed, like I held it with the skinny part here and then
So the grip here,
prodded at it, yes.
you grabbed it with both hands here,
Yes,
and then the barrel of the bat, the big part of the bat is here.
correct.
And you thrusted it into the different areas of the suitcase?
I started with his hand, and his hand, he was still trying to get out. He was still trying to do that. So I started to push on the suitcase around it, hoping to have his hand retract and go back inside.
You made those injuries.
I did,
We've seen the photographs.
yes,
We see the bruising. Is that from that bat?
yes.
Eventually, did his hand go back inside from you doing?
Yes, finally, he had subsided and retracted his hand.
So in your mind, did you prevent him from attacking you?
Absolutely. Split-second decision.
Now, once he retracted his hand, do you remember zipping it up some, or what did you do in relation? Because he was upside down, was he not, at that point?
Yes,
At some point, you flipped him back up.
I did.
Tell how that happened.
He wasn't cursing, he wasn't threatening, his hand was inside foremost. There was no more of him trying to break through the suitcase. So I felt safe enough to turn it back over. It wasn't happening anymore.
You went back to the video and the couch,
I did, yes.
and we saw the second video,
Yes,
the 22-second, and he's right side up again,
yes,
and you hear him say, "Sarah?"
yes.
Had you left enough room for him to get out? Zipper to zipper.
Yes, that's how his hand was trying.
That suitcase has two zippers, doesn't it? And they meet at various places along the line?
Correct.
How much room, when you flipped it over, how much room was between zipper to zipper?
I don't know specifically. I mean, it was enough to where his hand was coming out.
After you had hit him with the bat, was he not trying to get out anymore?
No.
Did you believe that he could breathe in there?
Yes.
Did you ever believe he could die in there?
No. At all.
Were you trying to kill him?
Never.
Did you want to kill him?
I did not.
Did you walk upstairs?
I did, yes.
Why didn't you let him out before you walked upstairs? Were you afraid?
Terrified is more of the word.
As long as he was in the suitcase, he couldn't harm you.
Correct.
When he's... Did you want him to calm down?
Yes, I wanted him to stop being angry because I know what it is for him to be angry.
You went upstairs. Where were the dogs?
The dogs ran upstairs with me.
And where did they go?
On the bed.
Did you have the phone with you?
Yes,
I know at some point you called your husband Brian, did you not?
I did.
Do you recall how long that conversation was?
Not very long.
Can you recall what was said?
I don't remember exactly. No, I don't.
Let me give you my 2 bits about what parts of her testimony just don't add up for me. Number 1, she claims she didn't get up and out of bed until around noon the next morning. Didn't even go downstairs. But you're telling me those 2 dogs didn't have to go out to use the bathroom before noon? I don't believe it. Number 2, you've already explained that you can't smoke in the house. And you're telling me, I know she's a heavy smoker, but she's claiming she didn't need to go outside and have a cigarette that morning? When the police were there, she kept on asking over and over and over, can I have a cigarette? Can I have a cigarette? Like she's not someone who can go very long without a smoke. Number 3, then you call your ex-husband before you dial 911. And not only you called him once, you called him twice, but didn't call 911. Now, we won't even get me started on how she claims that she was doing CPR. I don't know if any of you have done CPR. It wears you out. Even full-grown strong men don't go much longer than 2 minutes. And yet she's claiming she was doing CPR all this time. Things aren't adding up for me.
He said that when he was in the suitcase, he was threatening her, threatening you. Can you tell the jury what he was saying?
I don't know. Am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
But he's in me, and that's what made me ask him please to stop doing what he's doing to me, that he was going to, I'm guessing, try his best that night to probably take my life.
But what the threat you heard was
He's going to
say,
end me.
excuse me,
End me.
end you?
Yes.
What do you think? Does she have a case? Do you think that she's going to get off? Do you think that she'll get a lesser charge? Or do you think they'll throw the book at her? Comment below and let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll make sure to stay on this as it goes along. It is definitely breaking news day by day, and we'll see what happens. I'll see you soon. See ya.